All right, what's up, everybody? So apparently, I'm live now on YouTube. So wanted to make sure that I went over something that's important. I had a sales call just the other day, yesterday actually, and this gentleman didn't really have something that he wanted super bad. So that was really interesting to me to get on a call with somebody and to be talking with them and figure out kind of what their problem is. They wanted to grow their business, and I'm like, we could totally help you with that. Why does this matter to you? And he was like, well, is there any problem if you don't achieve this or you don't no, not really. I'll be all right. And so I was like, I said, can I be real with you or be honest with you? Like, this is the coach in me coming out. And he's like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, I don't feel like you really want to grow your business. You're coming to me saying you want to grow, but it doesn't feel like it. You don't really seem like you would have any desire that's going to make you willing to put in the energy or the effort different than what you've been doing for the last decade. And he didn't disagree with me. So, as a salesperson, if we're on a sales call, a lot of times we think, oh, my job as a salesperson is to get this person to buy. And really the first step is you need to figure out, can you even help them? And I was like, yeah, I can help this person grow. Second question then is, do they want my help? And if the desire there is weak, you might be able to ask some questions. So I asked some questions. Um, what impact is this having? Is this that big of a deal? And he was like, no, not really. I'm okay. And then I was asking, okay, then I'm trying to ask maybe urgency questions, like, why does it matter for you to do this now? He's like, well, it's not that big of a deal if I don't. And so I was like, okay, then now, sometimes in sales situations, we feel like we're in a tug of war with somebody. And they think the game is, I'm going to pull on my side of the rope, which is, I want to not work with you unless you pull me over the line and convince me. And we as a salesperson, a lot of times think, oh, I'm going to pull on this tug of war rope and I'm going to get them over the line. When you find yourself in those tug of war situations, I find the best strategy is to throw the rope. Just throw the rope. Let go of it. Like this, there's no point in playing a game. So I said to him, like, well, if I can't help you if you don't really want to grow, because you're not going to really do the work or do the hard things that I challenge you to do to get out of your current comfort zone, which is why you're stuck. That's where you are, is you're comfortable. And if you don't want to do it, but you want to grow, maybe you need to hire somebody else to do it, or someone else could do this. And he's like, well, I like doing sales. And I'm like, okay. So what I did is I challenged him, and I'm going to take you kind of through this sort of challenge. I challenged him to go through this assessment that I created called a clarity assessment. And the idea of this clarity assessment for property management business owners is to get them clarity, because until you have clarity, every action you take is a little bit wrong. And so the URL to this you can get to just by going to doorgrow.com/clarity, I believe. Here, I'll check that out just to make sure I'm giving you the right URL. Clarity. And let's see if that loads. Yeah. Yep, that's it. doorgrow.com/clarity. So if you go to that, there is a form and an assessment there. And looks like yeah. Anyway, you can go to that. I'll put a shortened URL that skips the whole landing page, and it might be easier to do the form because the form looks like it's in an iframe. So let me do this. Clarity. I threw it in the chat here in this live stream, but the URL is, instead of doorgrow.com, take all the vowels out of DoorGrow. So drgrw.com. It's our shortened URL/clarity. That will take you right to this type form. So you can fill out this form, and there's videos. Go through each video, and it's me coaching, helping you get clarity, guiding you through this process of figuring out why this matters. And so, I mean, like, what sort of challenge are you dealing with right now? Is the outcome that you're wanting? What have you been trying so far? Until you formulate all these answers to all these questions, it doesn't matter. What sort of challenge, how is there pain connected to this? Like, what are you trying to get away from? What are you trying to avoid? What don't you want to have? Why does it matter to eliminate that pain? How is that affecting your life, marriage, family, relationships? Is there any spillover into any other area? Like, what's the actual impact this is having? If it's not having any significant impact and it's not really that interesting, then it doesn't matter. Then go work and focus on something you care about. So I don't know if this gentleman had lost passion in his business because he'd just been in a grind for so long, not progressing. And there, he just seemed a little bit flat energetically. And so I'm like, we got to wake this guy up. Like, get this guy passionate again, finding something that really is exciting. The other thing I've noticed, so after you go through this clarity assessment, if you still are feeling flat, you still don't feel super energized or excited about growing your business, the next thing to pay attention to is your goals. There's 3 levels of goals. So let me share these with you. Level 1 is survival mode. That's the worst. If you're in survival mode and you've been grinding and you're trying to survive, he wasn't at this level. He was at the next level. The next level, that's the worst though. The next level is realistic. Realistic goals are, that's where dreams go to die. Realistic goals are based on what your brain currently can perceive and think. A great book on the subject is The Science of Scaling by Benjamin Hardy. So check out that book. It will blow your mind. It's one of the best business books I've read or been come across recently. I got to learn this from him directly down in Mexico at a mastermind. And so the idea is that you need to get beyond realistic goals because those are based on your brain's limited current level of thinking. You need to get into the realm of impossible goals, because when you shift towards focusing on something that's impossible based on your current limited level of thinking, your brain then has something juicy and exciting to work on, and it will work on figuring this out. But our brain shuts down when we have a realistic goal because we already know how to do it. We just have to work harder, usually is what it means. And that's not exciting or fun. Whereas an impossible goal, working harder is not going to get you there. Impossible goals are beyond just work or just doing more of what you already know. Impossible goals, you have to find a completely new pathway to get there. And it's usually it's always a shorter path. It takes less steps. It's easier. Now, Ben Hardy had written a previous book that's kind of precursor to this. It's a really great book called 10x is easier than 2x. And that's the principle that going 10 times bigger is easier than the energy and the effort and all the distractions and all the different ideas and the grind of trying to 2x a business. But in Science of Scaling, he gets into the science kind of behind this level of thinking and getting your brain to think outside of getting it to actually start to think, focusing on impossible goals. And so if you're feeling stuck or flat in your business, your goals probably are too crappy. That's it. Your goals probably suck. And so you need a bigger goal that's impossible. And you need to really want it. So first, we got to create the desire, go through the clarity assessment. Next, I want you to pick something that's impossible. So either take a goal you have, which is like, I want to get 100 doors this year, realistic goal. Very realistic. Anybody can do this. This is not hard. You just pick up the phone and start calling investors directly. Even if you have no clue what you're doing, you would probably, like people that own non-owner occupied properties, like skip trace them, get their list, just call them. Hey, how's it going with your property? Do you like doing what you're doing? Oh, you don't like managing yourself? Okay, cool. Property management's not a hard sell. Most people don't enjoy doing it themselves. So you could just do that. You would get 100 doors. I had a client follow this strategy, use some of our scripts, but he got to 105 units from 0 in 6 months. He was only putting in an hour or 2 a day, 5 days a week of making calls and doing outreach. This is not a full-time gig even. You can do this. Now, but what if you want to go big? What if you want to go really big? Like I had a client with 100 doors. He wanted to be at 1,000 in a year. How do you do that? He was like, I don't know. So he sat with that. He had an impossible goal and he couldn't figure out how to do it. So he eventually thought, I need to buy a company. There were no companies for sale. So then he's like in his market. So he's like, that size. So he's like, I will go around and walk letters into all my biggest competitors. and his biggest local competitor had 900 units. He walked a letter in, ended up doing a deal with this person and getting those doors. He was at 1,000 doors by the end of the year. That is what happens when you have an impossible goal. What was his strategy? It was to walk letters in and to meet the business owners and to create an off-market deal. A much shorter path to get to 1,000 doors. He couldn't just like do 1,000 calls a day. You could do 100 calls a day, and that might get you to 100 doors. But 1,000, you're not going to get to 1,000 by making cold calls or doing outreach, right? Unless it's something more effective. He found a better path. And so hopefully that kind of stretches your brain a little bit and gets you to start focusing on impossible goals. So do our clarity assessment. It'll help you get clarity on that. And if you don't have vehicles or ideas in your mind, that's what we're good at DoorGrow. We can help you collapse time so you're not experimenting and wasting time trying to figure out how to grow. We will give you proven tactics and strategies so that you can grow quickly. And we will help you with the operational side to get things dialed in so that you can scale your business infinitely without it breaking. We have to set up a good hiring system, a good process system, and a good planning system. And then you become what I call infinitely scalable. So if this sounds interesting to you, reach out to us at DoorGrow. This is all we do. We help property management business owners figure out how to finally win and get their business moving forward. And we genuinely care about your success. Your success is my success. This is what gives me fulfillment in my life. I want to help business owners succeed. And so if you are somebody that is like I used to be, thinking I will do this all myself, you're like Atlas holding the globe on your shoulders, like, I've got this, I'll figure it out all on my own. But you're watching YouTube videos trying to figure this out. You're reading books trying to figure this out, and you think it's all on you. Go get some help. Like, it doesn't have to be me. Go find a coach because they will help you collapse time. I've helped hundreds of property management business owners collapse time and figure out how to grow. I've had hundreds of guinea pigs. I've talked to thousands of property managers. Nobody is better at this than DoorGrow. We have more testimonials and case studies right here on YouTube than any other coach or consultant in this space. Our stuff is proven. Our stuff works. You don't have to waste a bunch of time experimenting or collapsing time. My biggest challenge with helping my clients grow is the ones that don't just listen to me. That's my biggest challenge. I'm like, oh, are you doing this strategy? They're like, yeah, sort of. Are you using the script that I gave you? Well, no. Have you watched the training about this? No, not yet. Cool, do that. And then they do it and they're like, oh my gosh, it is working. It does work. I know, right? Like, it's pretty wild. So our stuff is proven. I've had hundreds of guinea pigs. Okay. And I've had to figure out a lot of things in my own business that translate very easily to property management. And so we can help you do this. So reach out to us. We would love to help you. And that's my message for today. So first, get clarity. You have to have a good reason why. And then you have to have a big enough goal that you're excited, maybe a little bit scared, that's going to get your brain to stretch and think differently. And if you have those two things, you can't lose. You're going to figure it out. You've got the bite and the drive and the tenacity and the gusto to go and do this thing. And you've got a big impossible goal that's stretching your brain and giving you new ideas and giving you new pathways and getting you to be more creative. And so with that combination, you will figure this out. And my guess is DoorGrow will be a part of what you come up with. We can help you go faster. So those are the three magic ingredients that if you have those things, you're going to succeed. There's no reason why you can't be at 1,000 doors. There's very few that make that. We already have the roadmap for how to do that. We know how to get people to that stage. We've done that. And with us, you can't lose. So reach out to us. I just need people with a big enough why. Like, it matters, whether it's their family or whatever they care about. There has to be a big enough why. They have to have clarity on that, what they want, and a big enough goal, and the right support or the right who or the right coach or whatever, and you're going to win. You're going to succeed. There's no reason why you can't have a multi-million-dollar property management company. Let us help you create that. Until next time, everybody, to our mutual growth, let's grow together. Bye, everyone.